America's workforce. Its strength is our nation's success. Join iBuild America podcast as we explore innovative solutions and inspiring stories from leaders and workers shaping America. Discover actionable insights to build a motivated workforce.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Lane, and I'm the host of iBuild America podcast, where we highlight the people, places, and organizations that are supporting workforce development. Today, I have the distinct honor of interviewing Akil Bektemba. He is the CEO and founder of the Vanguard Group consulting firm. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is such a pleasure.
Yes.
Akil and I have known each other 25 plus years.
20 plus, yeah.
Doing this.
Dating us a lot, right?
I am. We met when we were 12.
Yeah.
We'll go. None of that. And I didn't have any of this.
That's right.
You have been doing workforce development for a very long time.
Yeah.
Through the Job Corps program. And now you have your own agency.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start the Vanguard Group?
So, just for full name.
Yeah, let me get it right.
It's the Vanguard Consulting Group, LLC.
Okay, thank you.
But what inspired me were really two things. As you said, we both have been in the same space for a long time. Job Corps was definitely foundational. But I realized along the way, just as you had, that we've been actually doing workforce development that whole time. Right? Partnership development, collaboration, all the things that go into building ecosystems and pipelines for the youth and for folks to get jobs. And so the catalyst, really, there were two things that pushed me or encouraged me to start Vanguard Consulting Group, LLC. And one of them was that I've worked for many organizations in many spaces, and I wanted to be in a position to work with anyone that I wanted to work with, right?
That's nice.
Those that I felt fundamentally aligned with, those that I felt mission driven along with. And then the second one was that I wanted to work on projects and movements that I was very, very much passionate about.
Right.
And so we have a pretty eclectic portfolio.
Okay.
And so we work in the justice impacted and reentry space. We obviously work in the youth services and development space. We work in the professional development and leadership development space. And so we've also done some film and some podcasting and some stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So so we're doing quite a bit of things and so to have the freedom to kind of jump on projects and do things that weren't as restricted because of who I was working with or what I was doing at the time was really a motivation for me to.
It is wonderful to be your own boss.
Yeah.
But I will, let me ask you this, because entrepreneurship, you have to have a hustle to do this. What keeps you grounded and able to deal with the risk that comes with this?
Yeah, the risk is heavy. I think in some of our talks before, we talked about resiliency and we're talking about those things. And I think the thing really was that I feel like we're here to be impactful. And I think it's more risky not to do it because I felt
that's the way I look at it.
Felt like in order to make the greatest impact, sometimes that takes some risk and it takes some sacrifice and it puts you in a position where you have to drive forward in ways that are not necessarily common or the same. And so I think, that's been a big part of it. But, the rewards are just, I think, as heavy or as wonderful as the sacrifice and the risk could be.
How long has the Vanguard been around?
So I launched the company in 2018.
Okay.
Didn't start fully working independently or working full time as Vanguard Consulting Group LLC until about 2019, 2020. Okay. So it's been, 6 years, 6, 7 years almost.
Got some legs under you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and some of that, to your question, some of that has been really exciting and really profitable and we've had, some really great drives. But we've also had some reality checks and some tougher times. This work that we do, although it's always needed, it's not always funded.
Understood. And I think that's beautifully stated. That's very good.
And so, so we are trying to balance that hunt, for that, and making sure that we're balancing that with the work and kind of the outcomes that we're trying to.
So from your perspective, Akil, what do you see some of the biggest workforce challenges in this day and space?
A couple things. I think, one of them is alignment.
What do you mean by that?
I'm not sure if all workforce development projects, agencies, services are aligned with the needs of the actual communities that we're here to serve.
Okay.
I feel like some of them, just the engagement, we build programs. Let's put it this way.
Okay.
I feel like we build programs in a way where we actually need to reverse engineer.
Okay.
We need to build connections, and we need to build relationships, and we need to pull folks into the conversation that we're saying that we're serving, as opposed to making them fit
into what we're trying to build.
Yeah,
bringing them to the table up front, to say, what does this community need? Because an Atlanta community may not be have the same needs as a St. Louis community. And even parts, I went city to city, but even if you take in Atlanta, you've got all those small hub, Decatur, Mableton, all of those areas, that have different needs, Roswell, all of that.
Yeah.
So I think you make a very good point with that. So when you talk about this connection and you're saying, reverse it, what role do employers play in these collaborations as we're talking about workforce development?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think that they are part of that community that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Workforce development, first of all, workforce development should be looked at as the one thread through every single thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's the one thing that we all can agree on.
It's the one thing. Everybody in this room is workforce development.
Yep.
A product of or part of it. We had lunch downstairs. There's those folks that are working down there are part of it. I mean,
that's right.
Everywhere we go, from the airport to just everywhere we go.
Yeah.
So I think if we see it like that, then it starts to become a little bit more clear. And so when you talk about the employers, they have to be at the table from the very beginning too. Mm-hmm. Programs should be built around what their need is.
Absolutely.
Where their vacancies lie, and they need to be flexible and agile enough to shift with the times and with what we're experiencing.
Which leads me to, how do we help employers see that they can't sit back and wait for a job-ready candidate? Mm-hmm. They've got to use the word be agile and be flexible to say, okay, I have an applicant here. What can I train them? And then what do I expect them to have?
Yeah. I think it's also, though, that workforce development as a whole, what we do as a workforce development ecosystem has to seek that information from them, but make sure that they are part of, I'd like it to be where an employer says, hey, this is what my next 5 years looks like. This is what my next 3 years, next 90 days even possibly looks like. We are looking at these trends, this vacancies, these positions. We're shifting our work model. We're shifting our, and workforce development community and ecosystem. Can you help us? And so we should be responding. Absolutely.
Right.
And here, and here is what we have.
And here's our menu right.
And then, like I said, from the very beginning, I think it's alignment, but it's also consistency. It's also accountability. It's also all the things that fall into that makes the partnership work. So, for it to be more of an aligned partnership, than transactional.
Oh, yes. transaction only goes so far.
Yeah, it only
You
goes
know,
so far.
it only goes so far. So you're in this leadership role. You're taking the risk. What advice would you give emerging entrepreneurial leaders who say, I want to do what Akil's doing?
First of all, it's not as easy as it looks, right?
No, it's not.
It's but I think that one of the things that I think that I've done and many have done, and I think you have also done, is we put in the work. I worked 25 years before I jumped off the porch.
Oh yeah,
right. So it wasn't like I was and I respect the younger generation, and I respect and I've told some of the folks that I mentor in this space, I wish I would have done this 10 years ago. I wish I would have done this 10 years ago, but I might not have had built the expertise.
Right.
So, so if I was to give some advice, I would say, look, make sure you ground yourself in the work and become an expert, or to the degree you can, in the space that we work in. Two, make sure that, you build relationships. We just talked about how long our relationship has been, and we've been in and out of circles. And it's great that we're still in each other's.
Yes.
Two, three, I guess, would be, you mentioned earlier about St. Louis and Georgia and these other places. If you have the opportunity, move around.
Yes.
Even if you have a foundational kind of headquarters,
you're right.
Go to things in other counties, other
spaces,
or states, other countries even. You'll find that, the insight and the perspective that you gain in those other spaces will be so valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
And it enables you to spread your network. That's one thing that I really appreciate about my experience with Job Corps for all those years.
The networking
is that I worked, in almost every region, in every state, or at least had some connection to all of it.
Right.
And so, you find that, man, 16 to 24-year-olds in LA, are going through the same thing that 16 to 24-year-olds in New York.
Yeah.
And St. Louis and these other places. But the approach, like you said, also has to be different.
Oh, absolutely.
There's not a one size fit all.
No, not at all.
Being, those would be some of the things.
I think those are,
but,
of course. But those are good things.
Yes.
I was talking to a gentleman a couple of series ago, and he was saying you have to be able to go to grow.
Yes.
That taking those risks and those challenges on is key.
Yeah.
And the other thing that comes up is mentorship. And you talked about, talking to your team as well as those who say, hey, I want to do what you're doing.
Yes.
Who was one of your mentors that you can share?
Oh, man. I've had a few over the years. It's interesting that sometimes your mentors don't even know they're your mentors.
Sometimes you don't even.
You just soak up.
Yeah. You just love being in their company.
There's, I just think, there's probably more people who were inspirational to me, or just allowed me to kind of sit in the room or be, invited to certain lunches.
Oh, yeah. In certain spaces.
I think, one of the cool things is that in my first kind of rise into certain spaces that weren't normally those that were occupied by people in my position. I was an admissions counselor at Wayne. I was at, and I had, opportunities where, sometimes managers and directors, I don't feel like going to that meeting. Yeah. Somebody should go in my stead. Right. And so I was always I'll do it. I'll do it. And then, I'd get in those spaces and I'd speak up because I'd have something to say. Right. Like there was something that I can contribute. And then they're like, who is that guy? What is he doing here? And then I started getting invited back. So to your point, as far as mentorship, I think, it's hard for me to name, one or specific mentors, but what I will say is that I appreciate all of those who gave me an opportunity to observe, gave me little tidbits of game. I call it game.
Yeah.
And we'll say you want to, I call it game, but put it, put me up on, how things work and, certain moves that, that I should pay attention to, just different things like that. And I am a student of the game, as much as, at this point I'm helping to teach and to try to motivate, but I'm a forever student. And so I'm picking up
lifelong learner
of this.
Oh, yes. This week has been really amazing. Some of the people that I've met. How do we engage our disconnected youth?
Yeah.
I mean, that is, and if you got the answer, let's write that down. If not,
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that we continue to develop. Right?
Yes.
But I think labeling them disconnected is probably a mislabeling.
All right.
I think that maybe it's more they disbelief and what
that's a perspective
we're doing. I think that listen, we've worked with 16 to 24-year-olds specifically, and I have worked with, even adults. And like I said, some of these other populations that I'm passionate to work with. The best reactions or responses that I've gotten from them and from people that we work with is the fact that I'm authentic and that they believe what I'm bringing to the table and what I'm saying. And I do, to the best of my ability, what I say I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I think that, especially working with the youth, my experience has always been very strong because I keep it real.
Yeah.
And, and they know that I'm there for purpose.
Consistency.
And I'm consistent.
Yeah.
And I think that, just like any of us, we see through what is not that.
Yeah.
And so I think that, in working with and pulling them to the table, bring them to the table at the beginning of a process or the beginning of a development of a program. So we truly understand and they are invested and are stakeholders in what we're doing, but also that they are, that they got to believe what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And that we're doing it for them because, especially in certain environments, they believed it at one point and they lost their belief because it didn't happen, didn't come to fruition, or unfortunately they were lied to.
Right. Yeah. That trust factor is real for our youth. I will often say our clientele, our students, walking through your doors doesn't fix the problem.
No.
They have the fact that they walk through the door is an important piece because that something's there that says, hey, I need to up my game. I need to change some things. I'm ready to make that stance. And so the consistency of our programs, our delivery of services, all of those things are critical. I often think, and I was talking, I'm talking a lot these days, which I'm, having a good time doing.
Right.
But it's also opening up some doors to learn some different aspects when we talk about social economic mobility. I got the skill set. I've got the, industry recognized credentials, but I may have to go back into that same environment in which, I kind of stepped out of. How do we strengthen to help move that piece for them so that I'm not fighting still to utilize the skill sets that I've learned?
Yeah. I think what we're doing has to change with the times that we're doing it in.
Okay.
The approach can't be a 2020 approach in 2026.
No, it cannot.
So I think that, going back to that aligning with them, I think it's an amazing thing for someone to go out on, faith or go out on whatever it is. Sometimes desperation.
Yeah.
To get to, to go into these programs and to actually do the work to get there and gain those credentials, get that training, do those things. And when they return, they should return differently.
Right.
If we're not impacting kind of the full person and we're just, you got some credentials but you're going back the same way that you came, with just some extra paperwork, then I don't think we've fully realized what we were supposed to be.
Oh, I think that's absolutely right.
And so I think that that helps with that. And then, there's got to be some functions that are also integrated into where they're going back. So if that means that, some of our programming, I think some of the most successful programs, I've seen people in Job Corps and other workforce development where they spend a little bit of time with the parent.
Yeah.
So the young person is going to do, this training, this and that and the other, but they connected them to.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a GED program that I work with CobWorks in the Atlanta metro area. And we work with from 16-year-olds to 80-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
In that and just to see, sometimes, it's a familial thing.
Yeah.
If you can get other parts of the family
involved
to get these things and to move forward in their own, then it becomes a group effort. And then you talk about economic mobility for the family.
Oh yeah,
that's a different kind of situation.
It is.
There's some, there's something to some of that as well, I think.
Yeah, it is. I have to give a shout out to my late grandmother. She got her GED when she was 64 years old. I love it. I mean, she had been a daycare owner, so she'd had that entrepreneurial for 30 years. But she went back and got it. So when you said that, I was like, okay, Mom, I'm going to give you a little shout out. I had to give you a little shout out. For
favors. His name is Mr. Eddie.
Right.
Mr. Eddie's got to be late 70s.
Oh, yeah. And he's still.
Mr. Eddie rides his bike to class. He's there every single day. He works hard, and we're going to have a super celebration.
Oh, absolutely.
With him. But
that kind of grit that you
have. I think stopped when he was like 7th or 8th grade. Long.
That's not. Oh.
So he's like the inspiration in the class.
Oh, if Mr. Eddie can do it.
Year-old in there, and then I got Mr. Eddie all in the same class. And we're all making progress. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, but if he can do it, absolutely. But talking about motivating that 17-year-old.
Come on.
That's,
yeah.
What you gonna say, Mr. Eddie sitting there making it happen? That's it.
Yeah.
What has entrepreneurial spirit work taught you about resilience and leadership?
Yeah. Sometimes the vision is stronger than the reality, right? And I think that kind of sticking to the resilience part is really just is sticking to what you believe you're supposed to be doing, the purpose of your organization, your company, whatever your product, and sticking to it, and not being distracted or discouraged when some things happen that, because there's been over the last 6.5, 7 years, there's been plenty of times where I was like, man, do I just go get a job? And not anything wrong with that, but do I stop doing what I'm doing?
Right.
And doing something else, and I kind of refuse to do it. I will do a lot of things, but I'm not ready or feel like I'm even close to losing this part of the dream.
All right.
And not pursuing, remembering the catalyst that I said that started the company, right?
Right.
I work on projects, things and movements that I am passionate and get everything I have towards. And then, just having the opportunity to work with the people that I want to work with,
Well, the passion's all over you.
People.
The passion is all over you.
Right
it is. From the time I saw you and said, wait a minute, he's doing his own thing. Check him out. You've been steadfast and steady with that. What's one of your most proudest moments?
I don't know if I've hit it yet. I think that I'm driving. I'm driving forward, full speed. I would say no brakes, all gas, and I think that. But I think one of the things I'm proud about is even this. Is the fact that I have the opportunity. I've been in this thing. I've been working in this thing with some really amazing people like yourself.
Thank you.
For so long, and that these relationships maintain.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing is just the matter of impact, and the amount of impact that I feel like I've been part of. It's hard for me to take credit for stuff, but I will say that that I know I've been part of the mission, and I've been
absolutely
impacting lives for a long time, and I get reminders of that. I got a letter from a guy that that was in some of my workshops in the jail, and it was just the other day, and it was just so much like, man, thank you. You did this. You did this. I was just pouring into it.
Yeah.
And and I've gotten that from students. I've gotten it from parents. But it really just, this is just kind of who I am.
It lets you know that you're doing the right thing, though.
Yeah.
So because leaders need support too.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And someone has to check on them as well and check in. So
and that's one of the things that I as we continue to do the work that we're doing, that I'm kind of advancing as far as offerings from my company, are some of those. We're putting together this program around creating success teams for leaders.
Okay.
And so what we realize is that there are a lot of really great leaders out here that are drained, that have, they have all of the things on their shoulders. We've experienced before, right? And so we have all the things on our shoulders, and we are, but there's not a lot of people that are looking for us. We're hiring people to train our team, hiring professional development vendor. We're doing all this stuff, but not really and so, so I've been having some conversations and some meetings with some CEOs and some organization leaders that are kind of appreciating some of that, offering some of that message. So that's going to be there. And so I'm really looking forward to what's coming.
All right.
I think I was telling you, I'm looking forward to what we're doing with SETA.
Okay, that's right. Tell our listeners what SETA is.
So SETA is a Southeastern Employment and Training Association.
Okay.
We cover 8 states in the Southeast. We're regional. Kind of. We're here at NADA.
Right. Okay.
So we're the regional, not the national.
Right.
Obviously, some of the other ones, NAJA and NAB, and some of the other ones, but we are the Southeast Regional Association for Workforce Development.
And little birdie told me you're on the board of directors.
On the board of directors, actually incoming president. So I'm excited about that opportunity, and really, moving the association forward. We have a great team. We have a great board. And so, and I think that everybody's passionate, and those who have been along with SETA for a long time are looking forward to seeing us adjust and seeing us go forward. And I'm looking forward to being part of that.
Well, congratulations.
So that's coming. And man, just being part of this whole ecosystem that is driving communities forward and helping folks realize their abilities and capabilities.
Nice. All right. Here's the rapid fun question.
Okay, here we go.
Are you ready? All right. Late night worker or early morning riser?
Is there a difference?
Someone said to me, I get up at 3:45 in the morning and start working. I'm like, well, isn't that late night?
No, it's supposed to be. It's interesting. That's one of the things when you were talking about entrepreneurship. It runs together, man.
Yeah.
It runs together. I find throughout the day, the benefit of it all is that I don't miss my daughter's orchestra concerts. I don't miss games. I don't miss picking up and dropping off from school. Right. This is my youngest daughter. Obviously, my oldest one is graduating from college, but I get to balance a lot of the family stuff that, but then it also means that once I get back from that,
I got it.
I was working.
You're right.
And I'm working sometimes till 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
I'm working till, it's just, and it's 7 days a week. But it's like, all of us experience when you're passionate about it, when you feel like you are kind of driving your own vehicle.
Yeah, you got it. You put it in.
You put the time in, but it doesn't feel like a grind much sometimes. Sometimes it absolutely does.
Yeah.
So,
I have a saying. So when I'm feeling like, I don't want to get up or I don't want to read this, and I'll quickly say, you prayed for this.
Yeah. Cheat code is take a nap.
Yeah.
If you can schedule yourself a little bit of exercise in there as much as you can,
and a little nap,
and boy,
that's I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right. Next, the last song you listened to in your playlist.
The last song I listened to was probably Bill Withers' Lovely Day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that song. I like that song. That plays in my office.
There you go.
That and Ain't No Stopping Us.
Yeah.
McFadden, Whitehead.
But I'm not going. That's not all I listen to. I'm gangster rap and
all right, or give me some
C and Ti.
Oh, go
ahead. And
T.I. is really changing the game now.
Yeah.
He's got Atlanta on fire right now.
Yeah, I'm messing with all of that. I need that to give me the edge to do the.
You need that sometimes.
Come on,
last book you read. So you're prepared.
100%.
Last book you read.
Ooh,
if you have time for reading books, whole books.
Yeah, well, I open up. I probably have 4 or 5 books that I'm like
starting.
reading,
Yeah, you're right.
I'm in like page 5 of 5 books. But what is the Parable of the Sower?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be have indication of, or it predicted what we're going to do.
Octavius Butler, right? She's amazing. Work your way through that.
Yeah.
I'm
reading probably a couple business books.
Yeah. I'll take. I think you said a lot with Parable of the Sower. That one's up there.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed talking to you.
Oh, this has been fantastic. Yeah. We should do this like every month.
Okay, let's make it happen. Whether it's a phone call or I'm home and I know a couple of places we could go for dinner. I keep telling you that. Yes, we're going to work that out. Yes. Thank you so much, Akil, for coming by and being a part of iBuild America podcast.
No, you're doing amazing things as always. And
thank you.
And look forward to keep going.
Let's keep this partnership going.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to the iBuild America podcast. Please subscribe, share, and comment, and be sure to join us next time for more insights and inspiring conversations on building a powerful American workforce. iBuild America, building workforce success one podcast at a time.
I build America.